All right, what's up everybody? So today in this video, I'm going to be answering a question that I especially had when I was first starting out on YouTube. And that question is, what level should my audio be at? So this is a really simple question to answer, and I'm going to jump straight into it. I'm going to help you guys get your audio situated so that from now on, when you go to record your voice or whatever that may be, you guys can get some beautiful audio for your videos. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So going forward from this point on, I'm going to be referring to a scale called LUFS. And if you're anything like me, you've probably never even heard of this either. For me, I only learned about this, 2-3 days ago. So this is still all new to me as well. And I'm still trying to master everything that there is to getting proper levels in audio, both for mixing and voiceover and just YouTube videos and so on and so forth. So what I figured I would do is read you what the description of LUFS even is, and then this will help you guys get an understanding moving forward of what we're even talking about. So let me just real fast read you the description of what LUFS is, and then I will dive more into this. So LUFS, is a term for loudness unit full scale, which allows the measurement of loudness of a piece of audio without a reference, whereas a decibel measurement requires the reference of standard air pressure, against which to measure the air pressure generated by the audio. So it's not much different than when you're looking at your mixing faders and you see all the decibels and okay, this is where my levels are at. LUFS is just another way to track your audio. The reason why understanding LUFS is so important is because most of the streaming services that you are using, including Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, Apple Music, and so on, whatever other music streaming service you can think of, the reason why that's so important is because that most of these streaming platforms are relying off of LUFS to standardize how loud their tracks are being basically broadcasted to you through their app. So for example, right off the top of my head, I know Spotify is -14 LUFS, and what'll happen is, say you uploaded a file that is 11 LUFS. They're going to compress that file back down to -14 LUFS. So it's really no different than if, say, Spotify had a fader, right? And they just drag down the fader until you went from -11 to -14. That is essentially layman's terms what that is doing, except it can distort your audio a little bit is what I've heard. So it's really important to dial in your settings beforehand, making sure that when you're exporting your track, when you're all finally done with it and it sounds amazing, making sure that you're exporting it so that it's -14 LUFS for Spotify, -16 for Apple Music, -8 for YouTube, and so on and so forth. So that is why it is important to understand this. I find that recording at -23 LUFS, which equates to about -8 to -6 decibels on your fader and your DAW, that is going to give you the cleanest possible audio. I've done this through trial and error. I've tried to record at -16 LUFS, even 14, and then I was just curious what -8 would sound like. I knew it was going to be very compressed and limited and very loud, and it sounds horrible. When you record right at -23 LUFS, again, TV broadcast standard, it sounds very clean. There's no audible hiss in your recordings. Of course, if you're using good equipment, keep that in mind. It's definitely loud enough for the person viewing your content to hear you coherently. Everything should be fine. There should be no reason why they can't understand anything that you say. That is, of course, if you're not slurring your words, but assuming that you're speaking into the mic, spot on, you're within your 6 inches, 8 inches away from the microphone, the audience listening to your video should have zero problem hearing what they are listening to. I recommend moving forward, if you're going to start doing videos either similar to like mine, where it's sitting in front of a camera, or you're doing a voiceover, for example, for like your YouTube videos, really get to understand the LUFS meter and get your audio somewhere around -23 when you go to export it to then add it to your video in your video editing software that you're using. So I've had no issues. Sounds great. It's loud enough. You guys can perfectly hear me. In fact, it might even be loud to the point where you might need to even turn down your volume. It's actually kind of funny. There's literally no other community that is so opinionated that is the audio community, and that's coming from someone who is into photography and cinematography, there's literally no other community out there that is this opinionated on a subject matter. That is the audio people. People that are into audio have so many different beliefs on where you should be tracking vocals and how loud it should be. And when it comes to YouTube, it is so straightforward. If you're recording, let's just put it this way, if you don't have an LUFS scale, as long as you're recording somewhere around -8 to -6 decibels and you don't go any higher than -6, you're going to be right in the ballpark of LU or -23 LUFS, and you could totally get away with that. You do not need a LUFS scale to know this. I would say keep your audio somewhere around -8 to -6 is where you're peaking. Don't go any higher than -6, and you'll be right in the ballpark of being at -23 LUFS, and you should have zero problems with your recording. You shouldn't have to rely on your gain too heavily. That is if you're using a nice microphone and a decent preamp. You should be just fine. There should be zero problems with your audio, and that's how I get my audio for all my YouTube videos that I've been filming. I didn't even know this, but I was recording at -23 LUFS from the get-go. I didn't even know I was until I actually looked into an LUFS scale for my program that I'm running. And I found out basically I was right in that realm of -23 to -24 is usually where I'm at, LUFS. So for me, it wasn't really anything different, but I think for a lot of people, they think they need to either A, record very quietly and then boost, or they need to record very loud. And there's so many problems that come into that when you do that, but I'm going to save that for another video and explain why you should be tracking your vocals somewhere around -8 to -6. And that's, of course, if you're doing a video like this. If you're recording music, it's kind of different, and that's a whole other topic for another video. But if you're doing simply a sit-down video such as this, you have a microphone in front of your face, whether that be a shotgun mic or a condenser microphone like I have in front of you. If you record your vocals that you're going in at -8 to -6, peaking no higher than -6, there should be zero reason why your audio is jacked up. You should be able to have very clean audio, such as what you're hearing right now. So guys, I think that's going to wrap up the video. From now on, I can't stress this enough. If you're going to do videos for YouTube, -23 LUFS, that's TV and broadcast standard. If you record at right around that area, -23, you should have zero problems with your recording, and I guarantee that you will enjoy the audio that you will be producing. So if you guys enjoyed this video, maybe give it a like. I appreciate that. Comment if you have any questions and I will get back to you. I was very confused on this subject matter until I really started diving into it and just looking into what these different platforms have standardized for their LUFS system, and it's very interesting. So I encourage you to go out there and do some research for yourself. Look up LUFS if you've never even heard of it, and get familiar with this, because this is going to be, I feel like this is going to be the standard for when we look into audio. So just some food for thought, guys. But yeah, I think that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all, and I will catch you in the next one. So peace out, everybody.